Okay, I'm gonna call to order the CFDC meeting. Like a motion to approve the minutes. Second. All in favor, we're good? We'll let it settle. Okay, real quick, we're thinking about, February will be the same, but we're thinking about moving the meetings from a Tuesday morning to a Monday morning, like the third Monday of the month. An email will come out later today, but.
Yeah, that'll work, cause I sent a note to Brian, Tuesdays is bad for me, cause I'm here, and I don't have any time for my business.
Is the third Monday good for you?
Yeah, that'll work fine.
Okay. So next month we'll keep it the same, we'll keep it as February 24th because we couldn't do the third
No, that's
Monday
fine.
because of President's Day.
Okay,
Yeah.
yep, that'll work, thank you.
Give her a second.
And we're also gonna check with Pam and Julie as well
Okay.
before we send out the notice.
Okay, then we're gonna, resolution approving the annual organization and calendar of meetings, which may change, but, and for resolution approving the official newspaper designation and resolution to sign county contract and shared services between the agencies. We're gonna block those all together for all three of the agencies because of the same resolution, and we're just approving one time and move on.
And once we have a final agenda, I will, we can make the edits according to what the board has agreed upon. And move that forward. As for the annual organizational meeting, only changes we have is we have included, I'm not sure if everyone has had a chance to meet our new fiscal officer, Ryan Gentile. He started middle of last week. So he is in here as the assistant treasurer and CFO. For the CFDC, we have not added any new policies. So the policies that you approved last year are the ones that you approved this year as well for CFDC. It will be different for different agencies. I'll give an update on that.
I'll make a motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Well, we have just been introduced to Ryan. Ryan, welcome. So we're on 6, resolution to authorize Ryan Gentile to interface with the banks.
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
All in favor? Now you're approved, let's move on to fiscal officer's report.
Do you wanna do it or do you want me to? Okay, alright. I don't wanna intrude on him, but also he just started on Wednesday, so he's only a few days of getting used to our numbers. So CFDC, last month we did receive that additional $50,000 from, well, Brian, do you wanna, I know you're doing it close.
So Rochester Regional Health bonded energy improvement projects at 7 different facilities across New York. Lumped them together, bonded through the Genesee County agency, and pro rata distributed the agency fee associated with that based on the hospital investment in each county. And ours was $50,000. That check.
In the early December. Yeah, so we deposited it into our checking account, but we did talk with the audit and finance committee meeting this morning about moving that money into our money market, so it can improve some interest at this point in time. But also keeping it open to see if there's other resources or projects available, especially with that development portfolio loan program that we have. We currently have $127,000 in there, and but we can move the money market funds into that account if we need additional funds for a future loan. As long as we have $2,500 in our money market, we can keep that open. So that was something that the audit and finance recommended to do for this time being until we find any other resources for this funding. So that's with our bank balances, and then with our budget versus actuals, these are the numbers as of the end of this year. And we are working with our accountants to close our books and to, to follow through with our audit. Any questions?
Run the executive
I don't have any
director.
specific updates for CFDC. Just keep
Okay, the next board meeting will be on March 24th, 2026, 9:10, unless we change that. And grievance committee meeting will be, governance committee meeting will be on the 24th of February at 8 a.m. Like a motion to adjourn,
So, second.
all in favor, we're adjourned. We'll move on to EDC next. I'd like to call over the meeting. I'd like a motion to approve the December 9th, 2025 meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion.
Second. All in favor? So resolution 3, 4, and 5, we've already gone through.
And there are no additional policies that we added this year for this annual resolution, so what you approved last year is the same we approved this year as well for EDC.
Do you want to do executive session now?
Yes, please.
Motion to go in executive session? All in favor?
And this will be for personal financial
It lists all of our loans and our borrowers and how they are doing. So for the most part, a majority of our loans are paying on time and regular. And so we have put them at the 3%, which is the general section for loan loss provision. We did keep Natalie Neal, her RLF loan, at that standard, just because last year she was in deferment for a few months. Once she came out, she was paying on a regular basis, but we've seen, late payment paying late in December. So we wanted to keep her there for the time being, she did pay on time this month. And then the other two that we have in the 100% loss are the K2 approved ones, which will impact our loan loss provision, as well as our budget versus actuals. Just a few other updates, since you have this spreadsheet here. Runaway Blue did pay off their loan in mid-December. We had a collateral on a property that they just sold, and so they paid off their loan. And then also we have the Wayne County Regional Land Bank. As you know, we approved the loan in November. This is a deferred loan due to the Brownfield RLF program. But we are starting to see a lot of work being done, as well as some reimbursement requests, which our first request was provided to us in December. So that's the updates of the loan loss provision. Does anyone have any questions?
Just one, Katie, it's probably just the way I'm looking at it. So we're saying this loan loss, we have 446 attributable, 472 that's K2 related. Where is that? Is that all supposed to be coming out of the P&L?
Well, so where it is, and it's, yes, but a portion of it is also from what was taken off from last year too, so.
So some of it's already been accounted for?
Exactly.
Or not, okay.
Yes,
That's what I
exactly,
was
so
wondering.
that's why you probably will not see the full amount, because 2024 K2 was at 25%, now that they're at 100%.
Okay, got it.
So that's why there's some difference from last year to this year. Yeah, great question.
Questions? Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Move on to the next one, to resolution to authorize Ryan Gentile to interface with the banks.
I'll make a motion.
Gentility.
Gentile.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, now for the resolution to authorize Ryan Gentile to agency credit card.
I'll make a motion. That's good.
All in favor? Okay, fiscal officer's report.
We have the list of the bank balances as of the end of the year. They're all pretty consistent. As I mentioned, the Brownfield RLF is seeing some activity with some reimbursement requests. And the loans are still in deferment. We may see another application coming up, maybe for the month of February. So we've been working with the applicant on getting a new application. That would also be from the Wayne County Regional Bank as well. And we do have one late payment with Pier 53 right now. And then you've been presented the budgets and actuals and balance sheet. Do you guys have any questions about that? As you can see, there is a negative, and that is due to the loan loss provision that was just approved. I did ask the accountants to put it in there so that you would see what it looked like.
Questions? Project updates?
Let's see here, so, Kickstart Wayne County Pitch Competition Annual Kickoff, so we kicked it off, we are full speed ahead promoting both the adult and the student competitions. Katie, did you interview?
I did an interview yesterday morning with FLX Group. They provided me a Zoom link, so I didn't have to go in and, dark 30 in the morning, because they were up really early in the morning, but that was very nice, and so that went well.
I was on the Big Dog last week, and then our full-fledged social media campaign, so if everybody, if you see the post on LinkedIn or anywhere, wouldn't mind, I said retweet, but whatever you say about whatever social media platform you're on, if it helps spread the word. We have our workshop scheduled, good, so far we're at, remind me, can you?
For the first one, which is February 21st, we're at 19 registrations as of like mid last week. And then for the second one, we're at 14 registrations. How much of that is overlap, I'm not sure, but it's still looking good.
We are putting together kind of a highlight video of the entire competition since we started, so we had some interviews with some of our past winners, and I'll call it a highlight reel, but it's really a testimonial kind of 3-minute video to kind of say, what are you doing, what were the benefits, and what we've seen so far. I'm really encouraged by all the feedback and unprompted stuff. It was really about the process, and at the end of the day, that's really what this is all about, how valuable the resources were, how big business owners go into situations eyes wide open. So I think we're getting a lot out of the competition, is exactly frankly what we're all hoping to get out of it, which is not just writing a check and giving somebody a little money to get a new business started, but really helping entrepreneurs kind of know that we're here, we're providing resources, we can guide them through this process of starting new businesses. So full speed ahead on that. Other projects?
Just say, I've seen a lot of promotion on the student pitch side of this too. Can't speak for all the schools, but I know Lions has sent it out, like they promoted it in the school, and they also sent something to all the parents about it, so hopefully other districts are doing the same thing, because I've seen a lot of publicity, a lot of talk about it this year. Good job.
Cool.
Did you wanna talk about ECT?
Oh, sure.
So just so everybody's aware, all the applications for the 4 counties for the Finger Lakes, which are not the 9 county, but are Wayne, Seneca, Yates, and Ontario. Our 4
Ontario.
counties, everybody, all of applications for ACT have been submitted, and we are having a boot camp, so that is for people who are specifically involved. So there will be 2 representatives from each county that will attend. It's gonna be at BOCES, and then representatives from the ACT organization come out and they train us. And then, so that will kind of be like our kickoff for the county more so. And then we also are having a summit. I don't have the date right off the top of my head right now, but it's in the 1st or 2nd week of March. And that will be, it's gonna be split up. In the morning will be educators, and in the afternoon will be people from business community, and there will be a lunch, and during that lunch will be an opportunity for both groups to kind of mingle and talk to each other about the initiative. And so, given that the summit is coming up, I've been preparing, I have a flyer ready to go out to the businesses, and we'll be trying to get as many businesses as I can to come and to attend. And I've also been working on a presentation for the superintendents for the schools, so that they can know a little bit more about the initiative and the whole county can get for. So it's being said, and I'm really excited about it.
Exciting.
Okay, if there's no other business, the next EDC meeting for the Board of Directors and the Governance Committee will be on February 24th. I'd like a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
In favor? Let's move over to meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. I'd like a
One
motion.
second, Dave. Are we live streaming? We're good? Okay. Thank you. Just want to make sure.
Make a motion to approve the December 9th, 2025 meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
So I just have this little board contact information sheet, if everybody could take a look at it, let me know if there's any changes, just write it on here, so then I can make sure we have the updated email address, phone numbers, and any other things in, as well as preference of if we need to call you, if you want to be called by cell.
The resolutions?
Nope, I just have it here,
Oh, okay.
so I have one piece of paper, so we'll just pass it around.
Okay, We want the resolution to be an annual organization, official newspaper, county contracts done. Like a resolution to authorize Ryan Gentili to.
Oh, wait, sorry, that wasn't a resolution, we just need to, so one thing about the annual organization, we did add a policy in there. It was our workforce housing policy, that was new, something you guys approved in September, so that is added in the annual resolution. We do not include the UTEP, although we did approve an updated UTEP in September of this year. There is a public participation process with the tax jurisdiction, so we don't do that on an annual basis. When we do make an actual update, that's when we notify the tax jurisdiction and, announce those changes to them, so then they have a chance to either provide feedback or input before that is passed. So that's not included in here, although we did pass an updated one in September. And if I could just, one thing, I think, I know we talked about meeting dates. I don't know, it might be hard to have our audit ready for March 16th. Because what we've scheduled with the auditors, of when we get a draft versus when we can present it to the board, I don't think, it just, we wouldn't have time to do it. So I guess one of my suggestions would be is we keep the February and March meeting for the fourth Tuesday. If that works for people. We just won't be able to get the audit complete and ready for your review by the 16th of March due to the timing that we've already scheduled with EFPR and the meetings that we had in December with them.
Katie, if it is more helpful for others, I myself, I don't need to have the regimentation of the same day of the month every month.
Right.
And if it turns out that beginning of the year or for whatever reason, I would just suggest using a poll and go, it's either gonna be this day or that day, and just we'll do the best we can.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, it's just, it may be too hard to pick one day that works for the entire year.
This day is tough for me.
Yeah, I just don't think I don't think we'd be able to get the audit to you guys by March 16th because what we planned out with them in December at our audit and finance meeting is different from what we're talking about now.
Send out the email, we'll make sure everyone.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, we'll have
you'll just
for
have to do what you
February,
need to do.
Yeah, I just think it's for that month.
Right,
So
I mean,
February
keep
and
those
March,
two the same, then
Yeah,
you come and change in April.
yeah, that's what I would propose is that we keep February and March the same due to the audit. And when we have to get the annual report to the ABO. And then moving forward, we could do the third Monday. It's just those, March in particular would just be hard to accomplish with what our timeline is with the audit right now.
So jump on the email, starting with the April meeting, we might switch, if everyone's okay with switching to the third Monday, we'll see what everybody says. Go from there.
Yeah.
Okay. So on some authorization to, resolution to authorize Ryan Gentili to interface with banks.
Well, we didn't actually approve the annual meeting yet and the newspaper. Did we approve that?
How we get them all together.
Did we?
First meeting.
Oh, we have to do it for every meeting.
We can block them, but we have to do it for
Yes.
each agency.
So 4, 5, and 6.
So I'm making this.
Second.
A and B.
Okay. All in favor? Now we're down to Ryan. Motion to approve Ryan,
Second.
all in favor? Eight, authorization, resolution to authorize Ryan Gentili to agency credit card.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, 9, resolution authorizing WCIDA investment fund.
Alright, so last month, we we approved to open a bank account for the Agriculture Land Preservation Fund. This is through renewable energy projects, and we have pilots through the IDA. If we open up that bank account, it's a savings account and it's only at 0.25%. What this resolution is proposing is that we, instead of opening up that just savings account at 0.25%, we open up a money market, which in contacting L&B, we can still get the same rate that we have with our CFDC money market, which as of December 26th, according to our bank statement, it was at 3.65%. So the intention of opening up this money market is to be able to increase some interest income while we sort of pull this money for future agriculture land preservation projects. We did receive our first amount of funding from a solar project at the beginning of the year. And so we would transfer that first amount, which would be $51,600.
Questions on that?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Next one is the resolution authorizing commitment of funds for Wayne County for UPWB.
So Unified Planning Work Program is a program annually run by the Genesee Transportation Council for planning studies. Last year we submitted an application that were not successful, but we're planning to go back to the well. So this is a recommitment of those funds and for big submission of the same application with improvements.
Make a motion?
All in favor? Executive session, motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
All in favor? Session.
Mark, I know you're here for this, I think, so.
we have any members online or not?
Good, okay, so the resolution will state that the IDA staff recommends MRB, resolve that the board of directors directs the WCIDA to execute the contract with MRB for a total up to $180,000 to complete a Wayne County water and wastewater asset inventory and capacity study.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay. Okay, next week down to the fiscal officer's report.
We do have our bank balances here. At our last meeting, we did talk about a CD that was expiring at Savannah. We did extend it for another 6 months at 3.5%. So then we can talk in June, about what our next steps are with that CD in particular. Just some other updates of fiscal management, 100 Dunn Road, which is, Morgan Dependable Disposal, Morgan Rubbish, they closed their updated sales tax at the end of the month. And then we also had 2 pilots close as well, or sort of end. One was Murphy, and then the other one was, why am I forgetting that one?
RS.
Yes,
URS.
URS. So they were both at the end of their pilots, meaning just a few months, right? And so one of them was selling a property, and so they wanted to sort of dissolve the pilot while they were selling the property, because it would only be for about a few months or something like that. So those also concluded at the end of the year. New York Slate Road was closed at the beginning of the month. That's the pilot project in the town of Arcadia. And the formerly known as Grant Building or Rando, that pilot has now moved over to RS Structural. And that happened at the beginning of the month as well. So some activity with our pilots. The only other pilot we have open is 112 West Miller Street, and that should close around the first quarter of this month. I know there were some delays due to some state and federal approvals that were needed for that project. But that should be happening, from my understanding, the first quarter of this year. So that's pretty much the updates on our fiscal officer's report. Does anyone else have any questions of the reports provided?
Any project update, executive director, any additional
I think
updates?
we covered everything in EDC. I'll just mention, the Public Service Commission approved extension of the zero energy emission credits, whatever, DEC, we call them, it's an acronym. This is a big deal. It doesn't mean that it's extended, but the Public Service Commission has given direction to NYSERDA to develop an, they're calling it DEC 2.0. This is the tax credit that keeps the nuclear facilities in operation here in New York. So they have, I think it was it 60 days, yeah, from that date of decision or that order from the Public Service Commission to design and present this new tax credit proposal. Again, a big deal, not only for the current operations of the nuclear facilities, but potential future operations. And we talk a lot about energy, we've talked a lot about this in not only Wayne County and New York, it is becoming, I'll say, a national conversation. I saw a national headline and read something somewhere. I mean, there are bottlenecks in anticipated delivery of energy, let's say, across the country. So a big first step, but certainly not the silver bullet, and a lot of things to follow after this. The last one is a summary of economic development things. It's a link from on the digital document relative to the governor's state of the state. If you have a chance, take a look. Not a whole lot of substance, I'll say, but I mean, a fair sort of overview. So we're keeping tabs on that stuff. I'll stop there.
Well, no other business, I'd like to thank Mark for coming.
I just
Mark
do
does
a
have
couple
other
quick
business.
updates, I promise it'll be 2 minutes. So at the last, so you guys probably all know, the staff here all reports through the Economic Development Planning committee in the county, which Dave chairs. And so, at the last meeting, he challenged us to think about, where do we wanna go with this? It was a good challenge, and everybody in the room, it wasn't just for you guys, but it was just in general. And so, to that end, I really hope supervisors take it serious. I hope you all take it serious. You are the closest thing we have, and I think I mentioned this in December, to a business advisory council, right? We don't have one. The county doesn't have one. You guys are it. You're out there, you're engaged, you're part of big businesses and significant businesses in our county. And so I'm hoping we can lean on you, not make more work for you, but lean on your ideas, your thoughts, your innovations, the stuff we need to be looking at. As I go around the county and meet with different businesses, just looking at our own workforce, I gotta tell you, I agree we need to be building for the future in terms of job needs, but boy, we've got it right now. So how do we fill the jobs that are out there right now? I'm guessing you've got openings.
Always.
Yeah, I mean, you've got openings. You know,
I've got standing stuff
Yeah.
moving, right?
I mean, and there's cool stuff out there. I was with President of Finger Lakes here a few weeks ago. He's talking about how they have a online AI welding training thing. That they do that online, by the time they get over to K's, that they can run a bead as if they've been sticking forever, right? So there's a lot of cool stuff out there. But I really, again, it's like let's take care of the foundation first. How do we identify the needs in the county? What are those kinds of jobs? And again, is that Walmart? Is that the diners? Is that restaurants? I mean, we've got a lot of need without even looking to the future. I think we need to be looking to the future, but how do we take care of what we have here right now? We're seeing in the county, you know, financial people, good luck finding them, right? I mean, yeah, you're so how do we, and again, I'm just asking you to think about that when you're driving and have nothing else to think about. And let's start brainstorming about what does that look like?
Get them young. That's
Get 'em
my-
young.
that's my
It's
philosophy.
it's gotta be a partnership.
I
Yes.
go in as much as I can, and I'm involved with WTCC.
Okay.
Crazy, because that's, I mean, let's face it, that's what I need, right? So they come green, and I know that. I drive my production manager nuts, but it's like, that's my future.
That's it.
And the problem I have, and I can speak mostly towards SOTUS because I'm pretty involved with that because of my daughter and other things, but they do not do a good job marketing what we have here.
Right.
And it drives me nuts. They send our kids all over the place and they don't show them what we have here.
How do we
And
change
it's sad, it's because there's great businesses here that have needs that, and they'll pay money, right? But the schools are, nope, you gotta go to college, cause that's where you're gonna make big money. Well, I'm sorry, but these trades businesses now, I mean, I'm paying some of them, they're good money, you
Making
know?
more than guys and girls coming out of Oswego.
That's what, so that's
Without
one
any
thing,
student
that's
loans.
Without any
that's
student
one
loans.
thing, Mark, that, you know, could help, you know,
Yes.
people like us,
Yep.
because don't send our kids away.
And we have
And they
some
do,
Yeah.
they just, and it drives me nuts.
And we have some superintendents who are committed to this. You know, I've been meeting quite a bit with Matt Barr.
Yeah,
Michael
and that's
Pullen.
that's
There
where
are some
to get
guys who are very
the
well patient,
mentality,
yes.
yes.
Wasn't there an article in the Finger Lakes Times recently about the Newark School District asking for business mentors or business advisors? I think that
Could
was
be, I
last
see that.
week. Yeah, something like that. We need to do something like that to get
But it
more
needs to
schools.
be consistent, it needs to, you can't have Lions doing one thing and
Right.
we all need to come together as a community and support all of us together, because there's some smart kids that are coming through these schools that would be great for our businesses.
And I'll tell
But
you.
they're off onto other tracks, and that's fine if that's where they wanna go, but they're pushed that way, you know?
The transition from graduating from SUNY Oswego, there was a lot of a bigger push to go to like New York City and really big cities. But even still, it was very difficult for me to find a job when I graduated. This was granted in December of 2020, so the world was very different.
Yeah.
But it was just very hard to find a job locally. You were gonna commit to driving at least 45 minutes typically.
And so that becomes on the other side, do businesses have the right tools to effectively advertise their jobs?
Yeah.
Because Marshall might have had a job for you, but you might not have thought to look to Marshall Farms, right?
Fair enough, yeah.
Or whatever,
Right.
so
No, right.
so again, there's a lot of niche things, a lot of things, you might be overeducated for, in terms of, college education, but it doesn't mean you're not qualified for the job, right?
And some of it, I think the kids don't realize that you have all the businesses that are actually willing to train. So you look at the job and you don't see yourself in that role because I don't have that skill set. But you don't realize that the person on the other end is willing to provide
Well, and
the
that's what
training.
I say, when I go to BOCES or even, talk to some of the career classes, I'm on the job training. So for me, I have to have some level of experience. I can't just,
Right.
send anyone in and say, okay, go well.
Right.
But I have on the job training, I've got some top end welders that work for me. I've got an amazing staff over there. So you're gonna get such a boatload of training just coming here. But I also, if you wanna go and do, welding on the railroad ties, I'll send you to school to that. Underwater welding, I'm trying to find somebody that's interested in that because I wanna train them to send them there, because that's a great specialty that we could do around here. We've got water, right?
Yeah, how about the,
There you go.
those
So,
guys are gonna be golden.
I will do that, so I
10 years
do
ago.
tout that,
Yeah.
but I tout it
Yeah.
for whoever's listening, right? So it might not be a broad brush.
Is there any kind of a database, so we have the database, like properties, if somebody's looking to come here and are looking for a property, we have a database, we have, a place they can go look and see what's available. Is there, and I know there's different like job boards and things like that, but do we have anything
Central.
that, right, like if, I'm an 11th grade kid and I'm trying to decide what I'm gonna do with my life, is there a place to go and kind of, here's what's in the county, I don't think there is, but something like that, even,
The county workforce development office, every month, I think, they have a listing of all the jobs that are currently, that they know of that are available, so I don't know,
That's the
like,
key, though,
if you're
that they know
talking
of.
about, if your goal is to have a board, like, in other places, other counties, in other states do this. Like, I know Phoenix has like a local app, and it's almost like, instead of Indeed, it's like all of the local jobs will be put in there, but that requires community effort from all the businesses to know, hey, we need your buy-in.
and I think that's
I can tell you
key
right
is-
now, I buy into that because right now I use Indeed. And
Right,
it's-
get the buy-in from the local
right.
businesses,
So
but then let the
if I
schools know it
knew-
exists, because
Right,
I
if
didn't know
I
that
knew there was a
existed.
database someplace, if I knew about it, right,
Yeah.
I would utilize it and I'd put my.
The county's
time
not
in.
using Indeed, and we're paying a heck of a lot of money.
Oh,
So maybe
Yeah.
it's
So
something
we
like
certainly invest in
promoting,
that.
if the site already exists, maybe it's expanding on that a little bit, or promoting the use of it and what they're actually showing on it.
It
Just as-
depends on
These are
the
the
county
conversations that
too,
will.
Might be-
like
Yeah.
per school.
You got it.
So certain schools in the county do have designated representatives that tie the students with internships, with going out and doing like walkarounds, or what is the word,
interns, co-ops.
no, just
Like
like
a
to
business.
go
Like
to
shifts.
look at the business, they have
Spend a day following Ken around.
Yeah.
There's a teacher
Which is great.
over in East Palmyra that has business teachers come in almost every month to present to their students, so it just depends on, it really is a town by town basis. Some towns have more money and they're able to do more things. Some towns have lots of business like classes that they're able to offer to students, and some towns don't have any. And then you have, for an example, like in Marion, they have 2 ag teachers that are like really motivated and engaged in the community. And so they are doing a lot of work with the students that maybe, on their own time and their own initiative. And that comes down to per community, who do you have? I think Lyons also has an ag specialist, like somebody that's in the school that's doing that and promoting those types of careers and getting students interested in that work. But I agree with you, it would be nice if we had a county, push to making sure that this is that every
So
school
we gotta figure out who's
has
gonna
this.
coordinate it.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna,
In my mind, it seems like it'd be BOCES.
Yeah.
Because, if you're gonna connect with students and vocational programs, they're already tooled up for that. And almost every region has a BOCES.
mean, if they
There's the
can-
Workforce Investment Board, there's BOCES, I mean, you know, it's a fairly, it's fragmented.
Yeah,
right
there's a
now,
lot
boy,
going on,
BOCES
it's
is
just,
in disarray locally, in their leadership transition, but yes. I mean, that's, I don't think the districts all feel
The same about it.
yeah, so, but that doesn't mean we can't help them think about that, and rebuild that, you know, that's,
I will say in every school district, they do have a community schools like coordinator person that's going, so, and just having worked with community schools, I do see that they are like the feet of, they're the base, they're the foundation of what goes on in the schools in terms of
they're
like
filling a lot of gaps.
county-wide programming and initiatives and trying to move all of us forward. I think it's slow and it's really disappointing to hear that their funding, they had a massive funding cut, over $1 million.
6
million.
Yeah, 6 million. And the question is, who in the community is gonna step up? If you're saying, I want these things, somebody has to do it, and if you already have a really wonderful group of
A
people.
lot of that was employment, so they're employing high school students.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of the cut is in the actual employment of high school students to do certain things. So that's really, you know, I don't know if it fills that gap.
Yeah.
If they got the Wallace grant, they're hoping will fill it. They knew it was running out in 2 years anyway.
Mhm.
And so, it was unfortunate. But that was really, paying high school kids to be in certain jobs.
Yeah.
Certain positions. So, again, I have to tell you, the older I get, I guess I'm feeling like I'm running out of time a little bit. I don't like no for an answer. I don't like well for an answer. You know, I like, let's try it.
Yeah.
You know, if you hit a wall, you hit a wall, right? I mean, some things you just can't do. Some things, there's gonna be a solid no. But until we hit that, you know, I've been with a couple of groups and it's like, well, the state won't let us do this. You called them? Well, the governor went, you called her. Had to do with early intervention stuff. I gotta tell you, this governor will support anything we wanna do with money for early intervention. If you haven't listened to her, 0 to 5 is her baby, literally. So, you know, if we hit a solid wall, great. But boy, I wanna encourage us to push hard and fast as we can. That's, I'll talk more about that with EDP, but that's, when Dave talks about it, he kind of energized us to kind of think out of the box, and I appreciate that.
So just to clarify,
And-
you're
and
saying
the Madam
that
Chair
you're
is feeling
seeing,
the same way.
you're seeing the gap in terms of information. And you're looking for solutions about like transfer of knowledge of what's available within the community.
How do we facilitate these things that we see as needs?
Yeah, I think people don't
there's a
always know.
huge gap between the education system and the employers out there, and maybe the county can find a way to fill that gap and bring them all together. And
How do we facilitate
Even something
that?
as simple as like internship opportunity, not internships in the sense that you're there for weeks, no one really has the necessarily time to commit to that, but like a shadow day or something. So this is very familiar to me because my son's a junior, so he has no clue what he's doing, absolutely not. I don't know if he's gonna go into banking or if he's gonna go into the army, no idea, he doesn't know either. But there's not been, and I think very highly of the school district he's in, but there hasn't been a lot of go out and spend the day. So he's actually asked me, and a couple of his friends have too, hey, do you have any connections to where we could go see what this business does or what this, of course I love to, obviously, will help where I can, but I feel like there should be other resources for all of the kids because it's not always an easy call to make to where they could, and I remember like we're going back ways, but when I was there, you did that. You went out and you had to shadow so many fields, and so I don't know if the schools maybe don't feel like the business community is as willing to do that as they used to be, or somewhere there's that disconnect
There's
because
disconnects.
I think you have a lot of really talented students that aren't quite sure if it's college, if it's welding, if it's plumbing or what it is, but if you could go and, you know, maybe the opportunity was a little easier to get to go spend a day or half a day, they would probably welcome. I feel like they would welcome it, and I think at least in the business world that I'm seeing, a lot of businesses would welcome it too.
and one thing I know is COVID really shut down a lot of things.
And I think you're right, I think that
Society-
changed a lot.
It seems like things are starting to wake up again, I think now is a good time to start delving into those things and see if we can get this going for the students and
Yeah.
show them things. I don't know how, if I was 17, I'd have no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, that's,
I don't have my age now either, but still.
At the very least, COVID made us go, oh, well.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't get
and
happy.
you didn't want the people in the offices, and
No,
you
we
didn't
always
want,
said
and
it
now as
for
we're
them.
getting back to some of that, I just think the kids knowing, you know, having that connection is to, you know, maybe not every business is interested, but I do think you find a lot that would love to have, you know,
Yeah.
a student come in for a couple hours and kind of talk about what they do and let them see.
It might be even
Opportunity
nice
here.
to have a list of businesses that would
Yes.
agree to do that, like if a kid wants to be a vet, you know, are there any veterinary businesses here that they could go and do shadow? Or do they have to be trained first, you know, those
Reminds me
types
of
of
Kent
things.
Marshall chasing Al down all the time. Coming back.
You know what I mean? Cause right now, like if a
Absolutely.
kid wants to do
Work
something,
in an attorney's office.
right?
Go find an attorney in East Sherman County right now.
But that would save
Don
a
Morales
kid,
is
that would
also-
save a kid, you know, a phone call
Yeah.
that was a no, right? So there'd be a list of, oh, here's 4 attorneys that are
No,
willing.
I hear all this and ideally, it would start at the schools, I mean,
Yes.
Well,
the
yeah,
guidance
I
counselors, this has
agreed
been
with
going
you
on forever.
100%.
You know, like it's just easier to have people fill out college applications
They're
than
checking
to-
boxes,
Then,
right?
And
right,
say, well, you know what, I don't really wanna go to college, I wanna do something in the trades.
right,
There has never been an accommodation for that mindset in
Nope.
schools.
not
Not
at all.
gonna-
It is getting worse.
And still, and you would
Okay.
think now with, you know, the pay, cause it has changed, I told you guys here before, when I started and where I am now, a new hire has gone up significantly. And it's good, they can make a great living doing it, but, you know, you go into the schools and say, you know, they've got several tracks, you know, you're gonna have different kids that are excited about this or excited about that, but you're not even speaking to them. You're just saying, here.
One suggestion I have is, I just spoke with Aunt Barb about this the other day, and I'll be quiet, but, so, some of us are getting grayer hair. And some of us, you know, people my age and even older, don't wanna work full-time, but they wouldn't mind working part-time. So I said, why don't schools hire some of those people part-time to be job coaches, to facilitate some of that stuff? You know, there's a lot of businesses in this county that I know that I could help a school district engage.
Yeah.
You know, at some point when Ken gets old, he could, right? I mean, Dave, any of us,
Yeah, but
any of us,
gray hair,
any of us
gray
could,
hair.
no, but you're still young. But I mean, so there's even jobs for, cause I'm finding more and more people in my age group who they don't wanna be bored. They're still relevant, they wanna be doing something, they don't wanna be doing the same thing that we're doing. But boy, I mean, you know, put some of those people in a school district, help them to talk to kids and identify ideas and, I mean, I don't know, so
That's a good idea.
there's stuff we can do,
That's a
I
great
guess that's what I'll say.
And then that would be their focus, because if you
Yeah.
have the
Yeah.
guidance counselors with the
Yeah, they're
bottom
not
lines,
helping
that's not
with
what they're
college,
doing.
that's not,
Yeah.
That's not, they're
That's
managing the
what-
day-to-day crisis
Yeah.
that,
Yeah, putting out fires all
yes,
day long.
that's what they're
Yeah.
doing, they don't have the time to do
So
this.
SCORE does that for businesses, you know, a lot of the SCORE mentors are people who used to be in business and they're retired, and then they're here to provide services for, you know, people who are gonna be starting their business. So it'd be interesting to have something like that, like of course it wouldn't be SCORE, because SCORE is very
Sure.
focused on business, but have an organization that would be like, okay, we have a handful of retired people from these sectors of businesses, and you know, and then people could reach out that way. And you know, that has been one of the successful approaches of our pitch competition, is that SCORE relationship, the workshops that we have, the fact that we're encouraging people to contact a business advisor and even a lot of our winners have said that's been such a great resource because of people who have experience in the field. And so I like your idea of, you know, let's, you know, part-time, right, retired people, because they have that knowledge, that resource, they wanna contribute
Still
to
very
the
relevant.
community, they're very relevant, yeah, absolutely.
And now they have more time.
Right,
They have
and so,
time to
and
actually
SCORE has
go.
been I think has a good setup for that, so if there's something we can do like that, but at the school level, I think that could also work too, you know, I mean, it's a great idea.
I always say, once they go to school, whether it's a trade school or what, and they're out of Wayne County, they usually stay. That's why I try to grab them before, it's like, you're staying here.
And I don't think any of the, so the training's out there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Finger Lakes has got it, BOCES has got it, some of the districts have it, you know, or on the job stuff. you know, it's facilitating that marriage, and this is really, you know, who, the county or the IDA, we don't need to get into the training business.
No,
But we can be part of facilitating the relationships.
Yeah. hook us together, right? For sure.
That was a long 2 minutes.
Good conversation.
You were
One minute, sir.
Great.
Great use of our meeting
Fly
time,
by.
actually, though, yeah, you know, Mark, I appreciate Mark coming and introducing the conversation, let's think about it and let's continue to talk about it and see what we can do as this group. You know, because the group has lots of experience, knows what's going on out in Wayne County, and let's see what we can do to facilitate this.
And we have, the governor, last time we talked, wanted 1 nuclear plant, now she wants 5 times that much, so, and there were only 8 communities that responded to her RFP on where to locate, and Wayne County is certainly one of them, whether it's at Gannett or somewhere else. So,
Even along those
There'll
lines,
be a
they
lot
have
more
no
tax
idea
revenue.
what job, and the kids have no idea
Yeah,
what
it's
jobs
like-
would be available.
No,
exactly.
Like, I don't have
Oh
an
my
idea
God.
what
That's the
jobs would be
thing.
available.
there's not
Something
enough
don't have.
labor
That would be,
in New York to build micron, there's not enough labor to build a nuclear plant. It just doesn't exist. Let alone make sure John has enough staff, or Ken has enough staff.
Right.
That's so funny, because my grandpa helped build the plant. And I was just talking to him the other day, he was in the Navy when he started, and he was telling me he used to work in the reactor and all the electric that had to go in there and all, I thought, that's crazy that they did that, you see pictures of it, wow.
There will be at least 2 in New York State in the next, they'll be started in the next 5 years. They're gonna be here, so we've got to make sure we got all you guys staffed.
Yeah.
You know, so, I mean, anyway,
I wish there would be a change of consideration on clean coal. Because it exists.
that exists. And maybe, who knows, you know, like, we may end up with a different governor who sees things a little different. But, I mean,
It's really.
but again, we get another nuclear plant, or they're gonna at least redo Gannett, or up it again. Yeah, that's a pretty significant tax increase for Ontario and Wayne schools and the county, so. So, yeah, good stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't have any coal plants.
Well-
The one in reserves in Oswego. No, it's still fuel oil though.
Is that fuel?
If no other business, I want to thank Mark for coming, well, Brian, next meetings are gonna be on, yeah, both gonna be on the February 24th, you'll see an email from Katie about the other meeting dates, and we'll try to get a consensus and try to get everybody around, I like to just make sure we can get everyone here. Cause it's nice when we have the whole group here and talking on things.
Yep.
So, that said, motion to adjourn? Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Give me 2 minutes.
No, I'll just like,
5 or 10.
Yeah.
Maybe Griff will look after it's